New at 11 today, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson announced he is suspending his Republican presidential primary campaign. Hutchinson finished in a distant fifth in Monday's Iowa caucuses, which were dominated by former President Trump. Since launching his campaign in April, the 73-year-old Hutchinson has struggled to gain traction in a crowded field of primary contenders. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in at a distant second in Iowa. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley was just behind DeSantis in third, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy was in fourth, and he also suspended his campaign following a poor showing at the caucuses.